gorgeous bundles of loveliness, how are you today? I hope you're all well. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're just doing a very simple project which uses the least amount of equipment that most people will have in the house, like a sewing needle and some thread and whatever you've got in scraps of fabric. Anything you've got to decorate it, some buttons, whatever you've got lying around in scraps in your house, we're going to do a project with today. Because you know me, I love my scrap busting ideas. I love to be able to declutter by using all my scraps up. So today we're doing a real scrap buster. You can make this project as big or as small as you like. It's a lot of fun, it's very relaxing, very rewarding. So let's get on with it. So today, guys, I did try and get the camera so it was behind me and over me so you could not looking at it upside down, but unfortunately my tripod isn't very stable, so every time I try and just get it in the right place it just tips over. So I do need to get a better setup, guys, but just for now I hope you'll just bear with me while just a chair with some thread on it at the back so I'm not leaning over too far, and a scrap bag in the back, so I'm sorry if it looks untidy on screen. Yeah, so I couldn't get the tripod set up sort of like over me from behind me, if you will, and we had to tipping over. So eventually when I get a better setup, things will get a lot easier, but just for now, if you could bear with me, I'd be really grateful. So today we're doing a slow stitch project. Now all I have done, haven't sewn this down yet apart from a couple of little tacking stitches just with some old thread. I've cut out, can you tell it where it's from? Cut out an old cardboard envelope and I've just done 5 by 5. Now you can do whatever size 5 inches by 5 inches, sorry guys, you can do whatever size you choose for your square. This is slow stitching. Now for the backing, you can use either wadding, batting, or you can use felt. If you've got some like scrap craft felt that, you know, when you've been either doing some crafts with the kids and you've got these sheets of felt, you could use that as well if you haven't got any batting or what we call wadding in the UK. And you just need a bit of fabric just to cover it. I think you can just about make out I've got a yellow fabric in the background, and you cut that out the same size and pop that on top like so, and then you just add your little scraps. So all I did last night before hubby got home from work was just pretend this is your main fabric now. I just got some scraps of fabric and just placed them randomly wherever I wanted. You need to press them if they crease like that. You need to give them a bit of a press so they press nice and flat. And you basically just put bits of fabric, really, cut it down and whatnot, wherever you want, until you've got it just as you like it. Now remember that green background on there, so you won't need to cover the whole thing if you didn't want to. I did choose to cover the whole thing here because I'm not very keen on that yellow fabric, but I did want just something poking through in the background, and I've just added a little bit of lace. I think you can just pop that pin in there so I know where it is, that needle, sorry. A little bit of lace, some scrap lace that I had left over in my scrap bucket, a little flower in my scrap bucket, some, as you saw before, some rick-rack. Down here, some rick-rack there I just cut down and put under the flower so it looks like a stem from the flower. And all I did was get some of this old, really old thread it does break easy, so I can't really use it in my sewing machine or anything, it's not very good. I just use this just to put a couple of little tacking stitches in each part of the where the different little fabrics were, just to hold it down for now. And then all we're going to do is some slow stitching to decorate it. Now, I don't know if you can tell here, but this is like a little vase shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to embroider some flowers coming up from this vase, and you're going to have some little flowers on the here. Eventually, it's not something you need to rush to do. But eventually I'm going to join all these together and maybe make a small quilt. And if you look at it in the point of you're using old scraps up, you're using some old cardboard from some packaging up for the templates, it's not really costing you anything. Now, if you've got some embroidery thread or some crochet thread, that'd be great. If you haven't, try and raid your auntie's sewing box if you can. If not, then the crochet thread and the embroidery thread can be purchased very, very inexpensively. I think I got a pack of lots and lots of different colours for very, very little money. It's not the best quality. We don't really need the best quality for these kinds of scrappy projects. If you want to get the best quality, please go ahead and do so. But I wasn't really bothered about that too much. I was just bothered about just really, I quite like that there, just really getting it done and getting a few squares together really, so I could put it together as a small quilt. You could do a smaller project and make a book cover, just so you're not trying to do something that's a bit overwhelming like I am, a quilt. You could make a long one for like a mug rug, like what you put around a mug. They're really nice. Or you could just do a few squares to put on a canvas for some artwork. It's really up to you. But all I'm going to do today is just, I hope you can see this. I'm sorry about my camera angles, guys. Put my glasses on. I'm just going to really do a very simple running stitch. I've just popped a knot in the end of my thread. I tried not to get it too long because I just don't want it to tangle up. And all I'm going to do is a very small, not a very small, but a quite small running thread like that. Now I have to say, I'll just do a few and then I can show you a bit better. I have to say, when it comes to embroidery and it comes to slow stitching like this, hand stitching, I'm not very good and I'm not very neat. I don't get my stitches the same size. I don't get my lines straight. I am very scrappy, scruffy and untidy when it comes to sewing, hand sewing. I'm just not that good at it. However, I really do enjoy it. I enjoy the relaxation of it. I just enjoy the quietness of it. I enjoy the fact that I can do a project where I don't have to plan and think about it, because this takes no planning whatsoever. It literally is just popping scraps of fabric wherever you want, whatever looks pleasing to you. There really is no rules with this craft at all. You can get some really beautiful embroidery, which is very professionally done, but I'm just talking about these scrappy projects that you just really throwing something together. There are no rules. You can be as neat or as untidy as you like. Now, if you think, oh, but I'm not very good at this, I've never done any sewing before, don't worry about it. I'm not very good at it, but I do enjoy it, so I don't let it stop me. I just don't let it stop me. And I certainly don't let it bother me, like here, where the stitch isn't straight and it's gone wonky. I don't know if you can see that on camera, guys. Probably able to see it better from the back. That is just not neat, not straight. It's very wonky. And for me, I like that because it just adds to the character of the project that you're doing. I like things to be imperfect. They make me smile. That's my excuse because I'm rubbish at it. So I'm just going to pop it back down at the very end so I can just come up the next row and start again. Obviously, if you're left-handed, you'll be working opposite to me. Now, you can do the stitches so you're lining up with the same stitches and, you know, at the top row. However, you can do them so you're in between. So where the gap is there, you have a stitch. Or you can just do them as random as you like. There is no, like I said before, there is no rules. You just take your time and just enjoy the process. I'm not trying to do anything in particular, any kind of pattern. That's all I'm doing. Just doing it until I've done the whole square. I've completely covered the whole square with these stitches. Like so. So the whole square will be done. And then we'll just add some buttons here, like so. Different sizes, different shapes. Some I've got 4 holes, some I've got 2. Pop some buttons there. You could put some sequins on here, a feather, you know, like the craft feathers you can buy. Beads, some little seed beads you could put on here. Absolutely anything you wanted you could put on here just to add to the decoration. And then you could do a few of these and put them together. Now what I would say is you might want to do one and leave about 1/4 of an inch around the edge of plain fabric and batting, and just do your material, your decorative material, leaving a 1/4 inch border so that when you come to sew them together you've got that 1/4 of an inch gap of plain fabric and batting to sew it together with. I'm just not going to worry about that. I'm just going to put them square to square, sew them together, and just have it really scrappy, like a scrappy quilt, because I just like things scrappy, as you know. I just think it looks more quirky, it has more character. And I know a lot of people like everything to be neat and tidy and precise, and that always looks lovely too when you try and get it all as precise as you can, but I just prefer everything to be very random. For me, it just looks cuter. So that is the second row done already, guys. And I'm not exactly rushing to get it done. So once I've finished just doing all the running stitches all the way down, I'll come back and put the buttons on with you and just show you how I'm going to do one flower here. It's going to be a very, very simple flower, nothing taxing, very, very basic embroidery stitches. And then we can just come back and have it finished, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Okie dokie, we're back, friends. So what I've just done, pop that in my pin cushion, is I've just sewn that whole square with just a simple plain running stitch. And as you can see, none of it is neat, none of it is even. The spacing isn't even, the size of the stitch isn't even, it's wonky everywhere, and that is exactly what I'm looking for. And I will just show you the back just so you can see for yourself just how wonky it is. But I really love that, and I also love the texture it gives when you just do a running stitch all over the front. I've tried not to pull the thread too tight as well so it doesn't gather. So that is the first bit that I've done now. Apart from, you know, you get your square, you randomly put scraps of fabric everywhere, decorate it however you want, and then I just do a running stitch all over the background just to hold it all down and make it look decorative, using whatever colour thread you want, embroidery thread, crochet thread, whatever you've got. I've just got some very, very cheap embroidery thread, and it really is cheap as well. It's not very easy to work with, but it's cheap, it's what I've got, and this is what the whole point of this project is about, making do and mending, and just using whatever you've got to hand, whether it's some old shirts you need to cut up that can't be worn anymore and they're not good enough to go to a charity shop, some same old blankets, anything like that. Old bits of lace, leftover rip-rack, some little decorative flowers, whatever you've got, cutting out a shape of material like I have done here in the shape of like a vase. I just cut that out last night just to make it look like a vase. And like I said, put some buttons on the end here. Whatever. It's meant to look like this. It's exactly how I want it to look. So guys, what I'm now going to do is, we all know how to sew buttons on, so I really don't want to waste your time while you're watching me sew some flipping buttons on. Alright, they're just the easiest thing in the world to do, but what I will show you is how I'm just going to go from just slightly underneath the vase but not going through the vase, if you will, and just doing a random stitch, a line really, but I'm not just going to do a running stitch. What I'm going to do is a back stitch, and I want it to look wonky because it's the stem of a flower, and as we know, stems aren't perfectly straight, they tend to be a bit wonky. So if it looks wonky, then all the better. I'm also going to go in between, because I've got 2 strands of embroidery thread here. As you know, embroidery floss comes in 6 strands and you separate it. So I've got 2 strands, and what I'm doing, and on the last stitch when I'm doing the back stitch, I'm going in between the 2 threads just to give it, I'm trying to do it so you can see it, sorry guys, I'm trying to do it so you can see it. I don't think you can see that. So you're actually sewing in between the 2 threads just to give it like, looks a bit like a chain, I think is the only way I can really describe it. So I've gone up from the stitch, again it doesn't have to be even, and then back through in between that stitch there, you just separate the 2, I'm not showing you the 2 threads, and go in between just to make it look like a chain, if you will, splitting those 2 threads. I might try and show you on a piece of plain fabric so that you can see better. That's going to be long enough. Yeah, that's going to be long enough. I don't want it any longer than that. So I'm going to do a few stems like that. Obviously, I'm not going to bore you with showing you them all. Just see. So I'll just cut this off here. I'm going to try and show you on a lighter piece of fabric so you can see what I'm actually doing. Well, it would knot up now, wouldn't it? Me and embroidery thread don't have a good relationship. I do prefer to just use a bit of crochet thread, to be honest. Right. Yeah, that's not worked. It's got tangled up in the... I'm just trying to go through the back so you're not seeing the... It's not going through the front. Knotted up with some right, pull that out. I will knot that in later so I'm not boring you. Try and get some very plain fabric here so you can see what I'm doing. So I've got two strands of thread in my embroidery thread here. I'll show it on your back because it's a bit plainer on the back. I've got some. Yeah, everything else is quite heavily patterned, so I'll try and show you this way. So what I'm doing is I'm going up and I'm going back down again, like that. Okay. A back stitch. I'm doing a back stitch. So when I'm going back up here, Not showing you very well, am I? I'm going back in between. I'll just show you in a minute when I've actually found it, because my eyesight is shocking. I won't go through till I've separated those two threads on the back stitch. Can you see? So I'm going to go in between. I can't show you because I can't see what I'm doing in this stupid camera angle. So I'm going in between the two stitches. Can you see that? For the back stitch. It would have been easier if I'd have had an embroidery hoop on with me. So what you can see now on that back stitch, that stitch has gone in between those two, and it just gives that slightly separated look. So that's what I'm doing with that, folks. Just pull that out. So I'll do some more stems in a moment, and then I'm just going to thread this purple up for a different contrasting colour, which is a little... Right guys, so we're back. I'm so sorry if you've missed anything. I've had an awful time trying to film this so that you can actually see what I've done. But what I'm doing now is I have just done the stem of green thread here with a bit of back stitching, and as I've gone back with a stitch, I've gone in between the two threads. And now I've got some purple thread on my needle, and I've got actually this embroidery floss I've taken 3 strands from, just so it's a little bit thicker. And then all I'm literally doing, I've just done that, finished with that one flower, and I'm more than happy with it. So I'm going to do one further over now, and all I'm literally doing is coming up through the back of the fabric with my thread, not having it too long. And then I'm wrapping, I do hope you can see this, I'm wrapping the thread around the needle twice and going back down where I came in, through the back like that, and then gently pulling on it and making a French knot. So I'm going back through the back, wrapping the thread around the needle twice like that, going back where I put my stitch in and pulling that nice and gently. Doing a few of those just makes it look like a flower. There's lots of different flowers you can do, flower effects that are absolutely gorgeous, and there are some exceptionally good videos here on YouTube showing you all the different embroidery stitches and flowers that do a far better job than me at showing you how to do them. I'm just giving you a quick idea of what you can do to decorate your slow stitch square. That's all I'm doing. I am not an embroidery expert in any way, shape or form, and there are some fabulously talented women and men on YouTube showing you all these stitches. So this is really for ideas only, guys, and to demonstrate, to be fair, that if I can do it, anyone can do it. So I'm just going to go through the back of this fabric now, not going through the front, just the back layer only, just giving myself a little knot on there just so I can tie some fresh thread on my needle. So rather than bore you, biggest scissors in the world, trying to find my little embroidery scissors somewhere. So all I'm going to do is a few green strands coming from this vase and a few random, probably different coloured flowers in it, just to make it look like a bit of a display, and then pop some buttons on here. And I'll show you, I'll insert a picture at the end just to show you possibly the finished project. It'd be finished as in it'll be fine, but I might still end up adding more to it. So if you look at the buttons on there, as well. And just imagine a few more flowers coming from this vase. It's going to look pretty scrappy. Just lift the camera up so I can talk to you. So yeah, I just had a bit of a nightmare trying to film that today for you guys with the camera angles and the not being able to show you in detail the stitches properly. Well, not be able to show you very well, let's put it that way. But this is going to be one of those quilts that every single square is going to be different and very random and very artsy and I don't know, folky, I suppose, folky looking. Maybe even a little bit boho, into boho, so you never know. I think when I might do a few more squares with you over the coming weeks, just to show you maybe a few different ideas and different looks, and try and put it together with you as well, so you can see how I'm putting it all together. It will be a very small quilt, like a square sort of lap quilt type of thing. It won't be a big quilt that goes over your whole king size bed or anything like that, because that would probably take me a while to do. But yeah, that's what I'm up to this weekend, guys. And yeah, I do hope you do try this, because you know we're living in very stressful times, and it's nice to be able to just sit down quietly and relax and do something like this while the television's on, or some nice music in the background, and just do something that's relaxing, but you're getting something useful at the end of it. You might want to do, like I said, something with this and make a gift for somebody, like a mug rug or a canvas or a book cover, something like that. You might want to make it into a gift for somebody, or just do it like I am, just for something for yourself. It's just nice and relaxing, especially in the winter months. I mean, winter's fast approaching now, and it's been -1 here. It's very cold. So I'm gonna sit down with a nice cup of tea, and I'm gonna put Little House on the Prairie on my telly, and I'm gonna, because I don't often watch television, but I just feel like watching Little House on the Prairie this afternoon while hubby's at work. I've got all my housework done, all my washing's done. I've got a very, very, very bad back today, so my husband had to help. Well, he didn't have to, he kindly helped me do the housework this morning before he went to work, because I'm in a lot of excruciating pain today with my back and my hips. It's kept me awake most of the week. I've not been able to sleep because of the pain, so I won't be able to do much anyway today. I'll probably just wait to hear what husband's route is like. He's thinking about getting a chippy supper tonight, so I don't have to cook. But if I do cook, if he phones and says he's having a bad route, he's having a bad time, and it could be late, I'm just going to throw something in the slow cooker so he doesn't have to do any other errands. When he's finished work, he can just come straight home, especially with it being such freezing temperatures as well. I mean, it's lovely and sunny today, but once the sun sets at 4 o'clock here, it's going to go very, very, very icy. So I just want him to get home safe. So I don't know whether it's slow cooker meal tonight for tea or a chippy. It's not often we have a takeaway, so it's just a nice treat now and again, isn't it? So guys, let me know in the comments if you've got any different ideas for this slow stitching than what I've suggested today, and please give it a try, guys and girls. And I would also recommend getting your children or your grandchildren, as long as they're not too young and they can handle a needle safely and obviously with supervision. But I would get a load of squares cut out, a lot of scrap material in the middle of the table, and just got everybody making some of these to put together and just make different things with them, because you'd have enough for a quilt in no time if a few of you in the family were making these. You could have a slow stitch party, couldn't you, in these winter months? Well, you know, it's too cold or the weather's too bad for you to go out anywhere. Get some hot chocolate on the go, some hot cocoa, some nice films on in the background, some kiddies films on in the background, and get some slow stitching squares made up and just have some fun with it. So I do hope you're all doing well and you've had a good week, and I'm hoping to see you again in the next few days. But for now, I'll say goodbye, God bless, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now, friends. Right, there you go, friends. So that's the finished square as far as the slow stitching is concerned. I might edge it, and if I do decide to edge it with some fabric, I will do another tutorial. Well, not a tutorial because I'm not an expert, but I will do another video showing you how to put fabric around the edges to finish it off. We can do that another day, but that is the slow stitched scruffy square that I'm absolutely loving, and I hope to see you again soon, guys. Bye for now.